Psalm 136. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of gods, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who alone does great wonders, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who by understanding made the heavens, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who spread out the earth above the waters, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who made the great lights, for his steadfast love endures forever. The sun to rule over the days, for his steadfast love endures forever. The moon and the stars to rule over the night, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who struck down the firstborn of Egypt, for his steadfast love endures forever, and brought Israel out from among them, for his steadfast love endures forever. With a strong hand and an outstretched arm, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who divided the Red Sea in two, for his steadfast love endures forever, and made Israel pass through the midst of it, for his steadfast love endures forever, but overthrew Pharaoh and his host in the Red Sea, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his steadfast love endures forever. To him who struck down great kings, for his steadfast love endures forever, and killed mighty kings, for his steadfast love endures forever. Sihon, king of the Amorites, for his steadfast love endures forever, and Og, king of Bashan, for his steadfast love endures forever, and gave their land as a heritage, for his steadfast love endures forever. A heritage to Israel his servant, for his steadfast love endures forever. It is he who remembered us in our low estate, for his steadfast love endures forever, and rescued us from our foes, for his steadfast love endures forever. He who gives food to all flesh, for his steadfast love endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven, for his steadfast love endures forever. Commentary for Psalm 136. Psalm 136 is a song of thanksgiving and praise for God's unending, steadfast love shown throughout history, from creation to Israel's deliverance from Egypt and into the Promised Land, and emphasizing God's consistent goodness, faithfulness, and power to rescue. Its structure featured a leader reciting God's mighty acts, followed by the congregation responding with the refrain, "His steadfast love endures forever," making it a communal declaration of God's eternal mercy. Key themes and structures. Thanksgiving, verses 1 through 3, begins with a call to thank God, the God of gods and Lord of lords, for his goodness. Creation, verses 4 through 9, praises God for creating the heavens, earth, sun, moon, and stars. Exodus and wilderness, verses 10 through 16, recounts God's powerful deliverance of Israel from slavery in Egypt, parting the Red Sea. Conquest, verses 17 through 22, celebrates God's victory over powerful enemies like Sihon and Og as Israel entered the Promised Land. Provision and remembrance, verses 23 through 25, focuses on God's remembering Israel in their low estate and providing food for all creation. Concluding praise, verse 26, ends with a final call to give thanks to the God of heaven. Significance. The repeated phrase 26 times comes from the Hebrew word hesed, which signifies deep, faithful, loyal, and merciful love, of covenant commitment. It is not just fleeting emotion, but a steadfast act of love that endures eternally, shaping God's relationship with his people. Purpose. Remembering God's faithfulness. To combat forgetfulness and refocus on God's consistent goodness. communal worship, designed for public gatherings, uniting the community in shared praise. Understanding God's power shows God using his power to save the weak and overcome opposition, demonstrating his character. The resounding theme of this psalm is not hard to see. His steadfast love endures forever. All 26 verses conclude this way. Why does this psalm display such apparent redundancy? Because everything in us is hardwired to believe that his love should come to an end at any time. That is not steadfast, but faltering. That he is like us. Throughout the psalm, therefore, we are reminded of God's repeated acts of deliverance for his people down through history. And each time we are told why the Lord rescued his people, for his steadfast love endures forever. He does not deliver because his people deserve it. He does not save us because we impress him. He delivers because this is who he is toward wayward sinners. Do you feel like you have used up God's reserve of love for you? Do you not realize that the more you need his love, the more his heart gives it? His steadfast love endures forever. There is no ceiling to it, no end of the line. He gives himself, all of himself, to you, all of you. The 18th century theologian Jonathan Edwards preached, his essence being love, he as it were an infinite ocean of love without shores and bottom, yea, and without a surface. Those that God is pleased to make the objects of his love, let them be who they will, or what they will, never so mean, never so great sinners. They are the objects of a love that is infinitely full and sufficient. His love endures forever, beyond our failures, beyond our resentments, beyond our disgust with ourselves, beyond the love of any friend. Jesus Christ came for us and died for us. He secured the permanence and demonstrated the depths of God's heart of love for sinners. Jesus proved it. His steadfast love endures forever.